Hello friends, welcome to my channel Language and Life Skills. I am Matthew Adekani. Today I shall present you a very brief summary of Shakespeare's last play, The Tempest. This play is about Prospero the magician. He was the great Duke of Milan, but he was more interested in his magic and other secret arts than in the affairs of the dukedom. So he allowed his brother Antonio to act on his behalf as his deputy to rule the kingdom. But the scheming Antonio slowly usurped the kingdom, usurped the dukedom by becoming friends with the officials, and banished Prospero and his 3-year-old daughter Miranda out of the dukedom. And he made himself a vassal of Alonso, the king of Naples, to whom he paid an annual tribute. An old courtier called Gonzalo was put in charge of casting away on the high seas Prospero and his 3-year-old daughter Miranda. Kind-hearted old man supplied them also with essential supplies, and they were set sail on an old leaky boat. Fortunately for Prospero and his daughter Miranda, the high seas were kind to them, and they arrived at an uninhabited island, which was enchanted and full of spirits and music. In this island, there were no humans. There were only spirits and a half-beast, half-man called Caliban. Prospero made his Caliban his slave and made him do his menial jobs. And he won the loyalty and service of the good spirits, who was headed by the airy spirit Ariel. Magician Prospero made him his personal assistant. Now 12 years had passed on the island, and Miranda had become a lovely young lady. At this time, King Alonso and his train, which included his son Prince Ferdinand and also Antonio, Prospero's brother, they were returning from Tunis to Naples. They were returning by sea after the marriage of the king's daughter Claribel. Now, with the help of Ariel, Prospero worked up a terrible storm in the sea, and their ship was wrecked, and all of them landed on the island. Prospero subjected them by his magic to hallucinations of vanishing banquets, deafening thunder and lightning. And also, and his son Ferdinand got separated, and they were in different groups, and each thought the other was lost. So all the enemies of Prospero were under his control, and they were made to be aware of their past sins and evil deeds. Prospero isolated Ferdinand and brought him to his cave, put him under his spell, and gave him very hard work to do, put him into hard labor. But Ferdinand happened to see Miranda, the lovely young lady, and thought her to be a goddess, and fell in love with her. And for her sake, he was ready to do any hard work. Prospero pretended to frown upon this budding romance, but he was inwardly delighted, and after due tests, he promised Miranda in marriage to Ferdinand. Now, all his enemies were under his control, under his spell, But Prospero did not take revenge. He decided upon pardon and reconciliation as a better course of action, now that they had all repented. Now he revealed himself to them and gracefully forgave them. Amazed beyond words, Antonio restored his kingdom to him, and Prospero now gave up all his books, magic books and paraphernalia, and he sailed back to Naples with the royal party. The island was restored to its original inhabitants, the good spirits Ariel and the semi-human Caliban. And in due time, the solemnizing of the wedding of the royal couple Ferdinand and Miranda took place at Naples. And Prospero lived in retirement in Milan with his every thought upon the grave. Now let's see some comments about this great play of Shakespeare. It is the last play of his, and it is farewell to the stage. It is not only Prospero's farewell to the enchanted island, but also Shakespeare's farewell to the stage magic. The play is steeped in supernatural and magical, and is drenched in symbolism. The magician Prospero is none other than Shakespeare himself. The magic of the island is a parallel of Shakespeare's own magic on the stage. It is significant that the theme of all the last plays of Shakespeare is that of repentance and reconciliation. Shakespeare takes his final bow to the stage on the noble sentiments of forgiveness and restored ties. If you look at his dramatic career, he started with hearty laughs in the comedies, exposed the hurly-burly of politics in the history plays, dissected raging human passions and their terrible havoc in the tragedies, and he wraps up his dramatic career on the sublime notes of peace and serenity. Indeed, we can exclaim in wonder that he has taken his readers on an realistic, conducted tour of life itself. In all the last plays, the first half is stormy, it is tense, it is tragic, full of strife and bitter struggle. The action plays over large expanse of space and time. But in the second half, the strife gradually dissolves, offences are graciously forgiven, and the exchange parties bury the hatchet. In this welcome and healing transformation, the younger generation plays a significant part. Their world of romance is charming, and we can see it in the romance of Ferdinand and Miranda, which harks back to the blissful days of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. The moral of this play is crystal clear, and Shakespeare would like it to be heard loud and clear. And it is this: the rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. That is, forgiveness is nobler than vengeance. Forgiveness trumps over vengeance. After enduring life's fitful fever, we must live in peace and reconciliation with every thought of ours being on the grave on a happy death. Bye, dear friends. If you enjoyed this video, this presentation, subscribe. Bye.